Let's go to Reggie, independent caller right here in Washington, D.C. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I definitely appreciate the hard work that everyone's trying to do in Congress. And, just listening, I mean, you guys are great politicians. I'll give you credit. But politics has to end right about now because it's an emergency here. We all know that a constitutional amendment is not going to pass. I mean, it's not going to happen. Why don't we focus on something that can really get done? We need something that can really be done, not politics, because like everyone's saying, we see the future and it's not looking great. Yeah, I don't think we're going to wind up like Greece, but come on. I mean, let's get something done that can really pass, not some not politics.
Reggie,
And,
Reggie, what would you like to see? Do you have any suggestions for the congressman?
Well, I think we're at a good start. Pay as you go is great. To start paying for what is out there. And, somebody mentioned a flat tax earlier. I think a flat tax is fair because you got a lot of people that don't pay anything. If you raise the tax limit, let's say 20% across the board on sales, no more payroll tax. That means everybody that spends has to pay. You have people now that don't pay anything. They don't pay any tax at all, and it's not fair.
Well, I think I love the spirit and temperament in Reggie's comments. But I think you're selling the American people a little short on this one, Reg. I really am. I mean, I'm used to political elites here in Washington, D.C. welcome ideas that limit the power of Washington and expand the power of the American people the same way that pigeons welcome new statues in this city. But I think you sound like my kind of guy. I believe in the American people. I don't believe in this city. I've been here 10 years, and two things have happened. During that 10 years period of time, my opinion of the American people has gone up, and my opinion of their national government has gone down. And as we said before, we've both fought runaway federal spending under Democrats in the Congress and the White House, but we were also fighting runaway federal spending under Republicans in Congress and the White House. And the truth is, I think you give the American people something straightforward, an honest debate about the size and scope of government. And what we're saying here, and there will be people, I think we've already been maligned on the internet. You can find us called all kinds of names already this morning, and that's great. But the point here is, I think you give the American people a reasonable range for the size of government based upon what we've spent on government as a percentage of our economy since World War II. And you say to them, up or down, would you like Congress in the next 50 years to live within the same means that it lived with in the last 50 years, or do you want it to double? Double in its role in your life, double the amount of spending, and do you think that would make us less free, less prosperous, and less secure? I think you give the American people this choice, and I think not only do I believe that the American people got behind a spending limit amendment, that we could build some fence lines around runaway federal spending in the long term in the Constitution. We've put economic policy in the Constitution before, the income taxes in the Constitution. We have the Interstate Commerce Clause. Some historians believe the Constitution actually was an economic document. But I believe you put those fence lines in there, and not only could this take effect and be enforced, as Jeb said, but I also believe that this whole debate will get this town to straighten up and fly right and go, well, it looks like the American people actually would like us to continue to live at about the level within the means we've lived the last 60 years, so maybe we should start doing that.
Well, if I could add to that, I think one of the things Reggie was saying is, I'm concerned about this, but I just don't see any opportunity here. They probably said the same thing decades ago about giving Libby and every other woman in America the right to vote, that this is a constitutional amendment that could never pass. Well, guess what? One day it did pass.
Right.
And all I can say is, I don't know what the chances are of actually getting this passed, but I do know this. Never in my lifetime has there been a greater opportunity, more angst, more anxiety, more gut reaction from the American people that something is amiss, that the government must live within its means. And the last thing I would say on behalf of myself and Mike and John Campbell, who isn't here today, how do you not do this if you know what's happening?
Right.
We've actually seen the numbers, we've read the reports, we've looked at history, we know where this is headed. And it's either headed towards a massive tax increase on the American people, it's headed towards incredible inflation, It's headed to more debt, where we go on bended knee to Japan and China and beg them to buy our debt. And ultimately, again, it leads to a less free, less prosperous, lower standard of living for our children. And so we feel, frankly, an obligation to put this out there. And as one of the earlier callers who said, well, what is the size of government? What should it be? That's exactly the debate we want to have. And we believe that ultimately there should be, this is the whole debate, is should there be a limit on the size and scope of the federal government? Should that be enshrined in the Constitution? And if it isn't, what are we going to do to keep this nation from bankruptcy and ensure that we keep the America that we know?
Congressman Jeb Hensarling of Texas and Congressman Mike Pence of Indiana, thanks so much to both of you for being with us.
Thanks, Libby.
Their op-ed piece, Time for a Spending Cap with Teeth, is in today's Wall Street Journal, and it lays out their proposal for a constitutional amendment to cap spending. Thanks.